So the newest addition to our vintage travel trailer family is this 1973 Holiday Rambler. It's 29 foot, it's a model 251. It was actually the gentleman that I bought it from actually delivered it for me from North Carolina, which was nice. I was planning on going to get it, but he brought it 2 nights ago. And I think overall for a 44-year-old camper, it's in very good condition. Obviously, you're going to have to go through it and fix some things, replace some things, take the carpet out, some things like that. For some or all of its life, it was under shelter, and so I think that's really good for an older camper to have been under shelter for a good part of its life. I am going to have to go over the roof. It looks like it's had some pretty thick, some type of sealer put over the whole roof, and so I'm going to have to go over that and make sure everything's sealed up there. But overall seems to be in pretty good shape. I'll probably take these wheels and have them sandblasted and paint them. Have to look about getting some hubcaps and wheel covers. One of the interesting things here that I read was that it uses oil instead of grease for the bearings, and there's a cap here which is clear, and I noticed there's some new looking ones in the trunk in the back that I could probably put on here, but just keep oil in those and it oils the bearings. So I'm going to have to maybe read up about that a little bit more. The owner's manuals talked about that, but it also talked about grease, so I'm not sure if it uses both or just one. This ASCS right here is an automatic stabilization control system, I think is what it's called, which is pretty interesting. It has a feature to prevent sway in the camper. So as you're traveling, if it starts to sway, it will apply the trailer brakes enough to straighten it out. So haven't heard of that feature before. Pretty interesting feature for 1973. And I believe that this 73 Holiday Rambler only has a black tank. It doesn't have a gray tank. The exit for the tank is right there beside this jack, and then the little knob that you pull out is right there to open up the black tank, which I believe is probably under the toilet. And so I guess what we will do is either use the external blue tank for the gray water, or I'm gonna look and see if there would be room underneath it for a gray tank. It's got an aluminum skin under the body, and so I'm gonna look and see if there would be room in between that and the floor for a gray tank. Not sure about that. So I'm looking at the back end here. It is a relatively lightweight because it's got an aluminum frame, a lot of aluminum in the build, but it is heavy-duty aluminum. And looking at this rear door, this is pretty substantial and pretty heavy rear door, and the mechanism here is pretty substantial. It has rods that go out each side plus this latch in the middle to keep it closed, and still works well. The paint seems to be in relatively good condition. I may end up painting it at some point, but especially the gold accents here are in good shape. Gold's not my favorite color on these, but I may just leave it because it is in such good condition. I'll be probably repainting or touching this up. I think it had maybe a white field here, and then the alternating black and red letters. So that'll be fun to clean that up and get that painted up. I think the build quality is good. An example is just these doors are very substantial and very good quality. Still open and close very well. I thought we had some video of the inside of the camper before we ever got started with the demo, but I couldn't find it. So I do have these still pictures that I'm just going to talk over. So here's the front end of the Holiday Rambler. Relatively good condition inside. We're going to have to determine whether we're going to paint the inside or keep the inside with the paneling. The paneling does have quite a few holes in it from over the years, people hanging stuff on the wall, putting up, like you can see on the left, there's a wire shelf. So when I've taken that out already, and it's left some big holes in the wall. That heater on the left there, I've taken that out, and so anyway, we're considering that. Pretty good condition overall. You can see the shelf in the top center, actually the cabinet, there's a radio, AM/FM radio behind that looks original. Couch is in pretty good condition. At this point we've already taken the upholstery off and washed that. So now we're looking back toward the back end of the camper, the kitchen area. The heater that's on the right, we've already taken that out, and I'm going to have to clean up all the propane lines and everything that go with that. And so we're considering taking out that oven that's right there and replacing that. That's not the original refrigerator, but it's a pretty good electric only refrigerator, good size, so we're going to keep that. Here's the shot of the bathroom. It's hard to get good shots of that, it's so tight in there, but there's the shower. Then we're going to be looking back toward this is the back bedroom, kind of a panorama of the back bedroom. We've already taken the curtains down and put up new curtain rods, and my wife's working on new curtains. So that's a quick rundown of the 73 Holiday Rambler. We're looking forward to getting into the project and all the different projects that are involved in it. We've actually already got started on several of them, and what I plan on doing is putting out a video on each of the different projects, and hopefully I'll do that on a fairly regular basis. Some of the things we're going to tackle are painting the interior. We're gonna got some floor repair to do, and then get new flooring. In the kitchen, replace the kitchen counter and replace that old stove top and oven. Probably put a smaller stove top, a new one in there, a new gas stove top, and then maybe a convection microwave underneath. Curtains, bedding, work on the bathroom, get the wheels and tires. Electric jack for the front. At some point exterior paint I think is going to be necessary. Check out the bearings and the brakes. The sewer connection, got to do a little repair on that. We've already got some fabric for a new awning, so we'll be getting that made, or possibly trying to make one ourselves, we'll see. And then the roof vent replacement, it's got 3 roof vents, and we're going to replace all those. So there's probably some other things that we'll do, but those are some of the projects. So hope you stay tuned, and I'll be putting these out on a fairly regular basis. I'd love to have your feedback. I know a lot of you folks out there have done a lot of these, and so love to get your input and feedback on these. Thanks a lot.